Good Thursday morning, everyone. It is Ask the GAPS Chef time. I am Monica Corrado. I'm certified GAPS practitioner, holistic nutritionist, and the GAPS chef. I am here every Tuesday to be with you and teach a little bit and answer any questions that you might have about the GAPS diet, gut and psychology syndrome. Again, I am not a medical doctor, and so if you are encouraged to have a healthcare practitioner that you talk with about any kind of medical issues. All right, so here we go. Hello, Faria. Hope I said that right. Hello, Maria. Hello, Vicky. Good to see you. Good to have you all. And everyone else who's on. Hello, Alejandra. Hello, Alejandra. Good to have you with us. Okay, so today I thought I would talk a little bit about milk, dairy. Milk and dairy. There are a lot of questions that come up on our page about milk and dairy, and so I thought I'd talk a little bit about that and then see what questions that you have. One more time with feeling, you are welcome to download my Gut and Psychology Syndrome Introduction Diet Chart. Right there on the page, two-sided. I hope it will be helpful to you as you navigate through the GAPS diet, the intro, the first 6 stages of intro, or the only 6 stages of intro. And also there is a coupon for you to get 15% off this book, The Complete Cooking Techniques for the GAPS Diet. That would be my book that teaches all the cooking you need for GAPS. Okay, so I want to say hello to a couple other people. Hello, Mara. Hello, Veronica. Hello from Berlin. Hello from Berlin. Hello, Karen. Hi there. Good to have you. All right, and good to have everyone who's not coming on camera or coming on the saying hello, whatever. Hello, Shirley. Good to have you, and everyone else. All right, so let's get started. Dairy, dairy, dairy. One of the things that I want to talk about is, I really want to talk about this, is the nutritional superiority of raw dairy, if you can get it. So raw dairy, raw, fresh dairy from a nice, from a dairy, raw fresh milk, raw fresh cream from a dairy with pastured cows is really nutritionally superior. It is the best dairy that you can use. If you can't find cow, perhaps you can find goat. If you can't find goat, perhaps you can find sheep. If you can't find sheep, perhaps you can find water buffalo. Some people are even using camel. In any case, that you probably could not find raw. But raw dairy is always the best nutritionally. Why? Because pasteurized dairy, pasteurized milk, pasteurized cream is sterilized dairy and sterilized cream. Not only is it sterile, that means that all bacteria are out of there. All of the beneficial bacteria have been killed. All of the pathogenic bacteria, too, have been killed. But certainly the beneficial bacteria have been killed. And we want those bacteria. They're very important. They're very healthful. They're very immune system, what can I say? Nourishing to the whole body. Okay, so what else happens when you pasteurized? You all know. What happens when you pasteurize? Not only do you kill the bacteria, beneficial and other, you also denature the proteins, you lose some of the calcium, and some of the other vitamins are destroyed. The enzymes are also destroyed. So what you get is something that looks like milk, but doesn't act like raw milk will. So I just want to make that point that certified raw dairy is the first the best that you can get. And you can look to the Weston A. Price Foundation, WESTONAPrice.org. Their local chapters, it's listed under finding real food or real food resources, something like that. You can also look at realmilk.com. Wonderful place to find clean, raw dairy near you. Now, what if you can't find it? You're not in a country that has it available. You're not in an area of the country that has it available. It's too darn hard to get to it. Maybe it's 300 miles away. That would be cuckoo to try and get to on a regular basis. What do? Then the next best option, and it's all listed in my book about good, better, best, optimal dairy. In fact, I'm going to find the page for you. So it's in the section on culturing dairy, which is the second big section. I just want to look about, I go all over these things for you. Let us looking quickly. It's called the Handy Milk Buying Guide. Page 70 in my book. It's a whole thing that tells you best, acceptable, but not optimal, acceptable, less optimal, and not recommended. In any case, it's there. So the next thing that you would look for is if it's pasteurized, organic, grass-fed or pastured, right? Milk from pastured animals, organic, grass-fed, non-homogenized, whole milk. And you do not want it to be, should not say UHT on it. It should not say UHT. That means ultra high temperature. And that means it's dead. Deader than a doorknob. Deader than this table. Dead. It's just nada. Okay. So I just want to give you those as what is best is raw. Next best is organic. And always, folks, what am I saying? And what would Dr. Natasha say? It would be get the best quality you can find and then make it yourself. So I really want to bring this up because we've had a little post on our page about showing me some sour cream that's, or maybe, yeah, it was sour cream. It was not organic. That is not recommended. If that's all you can get, it's fine, but it's not recommended. And why? Because GAPS is a part of GAPS. One of the biggest parts of GAPS is that we take the toxins out, right? We're constantly, I hope all of you are doing the diet and the detox. The diet and the detox. One more time. The diet and the detox. These are two tracks. They're running alongside each other. You're doing all of it, both of them every day. The diet and the detox. So if you are spending so much time doing detox baths, there are 5 of them, doing castor oil packs, doing oil pulling, going doing a sauna, walking on the earth with bare feet, getting lots of sunshine. If you're doing all of these things, you're cleaning your home, you don't have any chemical products in your home, you're washing your hair with egg yolks. I mean, golly gee willikers, you're doing so many things to detoxify the body, to support your beloved liver, right? Maybe you're drinking milk thistle tea. Maybe you're drinking lots of beet kvass. Maybe you're doing juicing. What are we doing to detoxify? Lots of things to detoxify. You do not want to be eating toxins, right? So do your best. Again, we always just say do your best to find the best quality ingredients you can find. And I've given some pretty clear guidance, I hope, from Dr. Natasha in my book, so you can see what does that mean according to milk, what does that mean according to meat, what does that mean according to fat when we're talking about these things. And then I always say, bless it and go. What does that mean? That means do the best you can, find the best quality milk you can find, and the best quality cream that you can find, and then dive right in wholeheartedly. No worries, no anxiety. One of the things that we do not want you to do, or I personally say over and over again, is you don't want to split your energy. So decide what you're going to do and do it. Decide this is the best that you can find, and that's the best you can find. Do not second guess yourself. Do not second guess yourself. You can't do this thing of, maybe I should use this milk. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should use this milk. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should use this milk. Maybe I should. You're going to tear yourself apart. Bad idea. So just get the best quality you can find, and then just be happy with that. I call it bless it and go, which means I'm doing it. I'm going there straight ahead. I really encourage you to do that. I encourage you to do it with everything you do. If you're going to do the GAPS diet, I'm doing the GAPS diet. Yes, all in. I'm doing it. I'm not like, well, maybe I should do it. Well, maybe I shouldn't. Well, maybe I should do it. Well, maybe you could do this. Maybe I should do it. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should do it. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should do it. Maybe I shouldn't. You're going to be a mess. Just decide. I'm doing GAPS. I'm committing to GAPS. I'm going to do it for 2 years. I'm going to do the best I can. I'm going to keep track of my triumphs. I'm going to keep track of what works for me. I'm going to keep track of all those symptoms that no longer show up. I'm going to keep track of my progress, and I'm going to look at it every day so that I know it's worth it, right? That's what I'm going to do. I really encourage you to do that. Whatever you're doing, make the decision, line up with it, and do it full-heartedly, wholeheartedly, because you will not get anywhere if you don't. And you're going to make more problems if you do this thing of yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. If you get what I'm saying, somebody give me a thumbs up. All right. So the other thing, anybody? Thumbs up, anybody? Hello, Dorothy. Welcome. Hello, Philsan. Welcome. Hello, Lee. Welcome. Hello, Monica. Hello, Joanna. Hello, Carol. Carol Carpinelli. I can say that because my name is Monica Corrado. Okay. Hello, Annika. Good to have you. Haven't seen you in a while. Hey, Jennifer. How are you? Good to see you. Okay. All right. I'm glad I got a bunch of little thumbs up. Okay. So I just want to really give you that. It's very, very important. You know, decide what's important to you. Decide that you're going to do something and do it. Don't look back. Don't worry. Don't wonder. Don't question. Just go. Make a commitment and off we go. Yeah? Especially with all of these things. Hello, Courtney. Welcome. Hello, Kathleen. Welcome. All right. I want to go through one more thing. We've been talking about dairy, and we've been talking about finding the best quality dairy that you can find. And so I want to just look right here. La, 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 la. I'm looking in the yellow book. You can see how much I use my yellow book. Look, I hope your yellow book looks this way too, right? You all can be laughing. This is my third copy. Yeah, it's in pieces. Very important to know the book, to learn the book, to see the book, etc., etc. All right, so the next thing that I want to say, just so everyone has it. Again, I'm going back to that post on our page about, is this sour cream, which is not organic, okay? And I said no. And the reason I said no is because it's not organic. The other thing that I did say along the page was to say that in GAPS, Dr. Natasha is very clear that all of the dairy that we use is homemade. Homemade. One more time with feeling. Homemade yogurt, homemade kefir, homemade GAPS sour cream, otherwise known as cultured cream, otherwise known as AKA creme fraiche, right? Okay, so if you're going to do GAPS, really, it's homemade. So you find that raw milk, goat, cow, whatever, sheep. You find that raw milk from the resources that I mentioned earlier on, and or you can't find that. You find organic milk. I told you the next one: organic, grass-fed, whole, non-homogenized, if possible. That's really best. And no UHT, right? Okay, then you find that. You take those and you make your own. Homemade. I'm leaving big pauses, so I hope it sinks into people. Yeah? And you're thinking, we make our own on Gaps. Why? Because of many reasons, right? Many reasons. One of them is that we know that all of the dairy on the Gaps diet, all of the dairy on the nutritional protocol is lactose free, right? It's lactose free. And why do we know that? We know it because lactose is a sugar, it's a milk sugar, and there is no sugar on Gaps, right? There's no lactose on Gaps. So when we make it ourselves, what happens? When we make it ourselves, we make our own yogurt, we make our own Gaps sour cream, we make our own kefir, we can control not only the quality of the milk, but also the length of time that things are cultured. And often I'm asked, well, if I buy it in the store, what do I look for? So the first thing I need to be really clear about is that buying it in the store is not optimal. Buying yogurt from the store is not optimal. Buying sour cream or creme fraiche is not optimal. Buying kefir or milk kefir is not optimal on Gaps. Making it yourself is. I'll talk about when you can do that in a moment. Why is it not optimal? Mostly because we can't control the conditions and because these things are made in big factories and because we don't know what those cows really ate and because we know that we are what we eat eats, right? We are what we eat eats. So if those beautiful cows were eating a bunch of grain, right, then, which they're not supposed to be eating, cows are meant to eat grass, right? So then we take in what they've taken in. And also, what else do we know? I know because I've done the research that the majority of commercially produced, that is store-bought, right? Commercially produced yogurt, commercially produced kefir, K-E-F-I-R, commercially produced sour cream, creme fraiche, cultured cream, whatever you call it, pardon me, is not cultured 24 hours or longer. The industry standard allows for 6 to 8 hours of culturing. And we know as Gapsters that that's not enough, right? We know it has to be 24 hours or longer at 110 degrees Fahrenheit, 43.3 Celsius. I know Mara's happy that I said that. Trying always to include our international people. Nice to have Gaps going so international. So in any case, we know that they're just not culturing it long enough. All right, so that's why. Now, does that mean that you can never have store-bought yogurt when you're on Gaps? No, but it's not optimal and it's not recommended. It is in a pinch. Like what if, pardon me, what if you're traveling? What if you're traveling, you're going to see family, you're going to see anything, you're traveling and you don't have access to your, yay, Kathleen. I'm happy to hear that. What if you're traveling and you don't have access to beautiful, clean, certified, fresh, raw milk and you can't make it yourself? Meaning you can't go buy organic and make it yourself. Then can you have yogurt? Yes, but remember a couple things. One, really important for you to do what I call the commercial yogurt workaround. I wrote it in my book, which says if you're traveling, you can still buy the best quality yogurt you can find or the best quality kefir that you can find or the best quality Gaps sour cream or cultured cream that you can find. And on page 94 of my book, you won't find this in Dr. Natasha's book because she's all about just make it yourself. Homemade, 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 homemade. You won't find it anywhere else in her book, right? I have written down what you can do, which is what can you do? You can buy one that's clean from the store, and then you can take it home or take it to your hotel room or your cabin or wherever you are. Put it in a glass jar if you can. Always glass is preferable. And leave it out on the counter for another 24 hours at room temperature. Because then, I'm looking for yogurt. Maybe, what is she doing? I'm looking in here for the page for yogurt for you all. La, la, la. Making yogurt from creme fraiche. Okay, that's on page 101. It's called Commercial Grade Yogurt Shortcut. Okay. So, that's a way. Why do we do that? We leave it out for an extra 24 hours at room temperature so that we hope that the microbes, the bacteria in that yogurt or that cultured dairy of whatever it is, can pre-digest whatever lactose is left in there that the industry, the company that made it, didn't wait long enough, didn't culture long enough to have it lactose free for you. All right, so that's why GAPS is about homemade sour cream, homemade yogurt, homemade creme fraiche. I know I'm probably going to blow a lot of people's minds today with that, but it's really true. And buying things in the store is a last resort, and it should be. Okay. I know. It sounds like I'm being hardcore, but there's one other reason why. Not only is the lactose, but one of the things I like to talk about with people, to share with them, is that the amount of healthy, beneficial microbes, bacteria and yeast, mostly bacteria, unless it's kefir, then it would be yeast, mostly yeast. The amount of it in homemade dairy products is through the roof. I know that's very scientific. It is 100 times, 1,000 times, exponentially more potent than anything you could ever buy in the store. Homemade is exponentially more potent. What does that mean? That means that you might be able to tolerate a cup, maybe 2 cups of store-bought yogurt that you have allowed to sit on the counter and go lactose-free over 24 hours. But you certainly would not be able to tolerate 2 cups of homemade yogurt because the amount of microbes in for example, the amount of microbes that are in store-bought yogurt might look like this. And the amount of microbes, beneficial bacteria, beneficial microbes that are in homemade is like this. Does everybody see a difference here? Right? A lot more. So ultimately, it is cheaper to make your own, so less expensive. You can control the quality of what kind of milk you're using, right? You can control whether or not it's lactose-free because you're making sure it's lactose-free. Yeah? And then you will have this incredibly, saludos Gladys, hello. You will have this incredibly potent, very potent microbial mix if you make it yourself. So that's why. Now, we can get into lots of other things if you're interested. One quick thing is that Dr. Natasha always says, if you have any issues with dairy or any concerns about dairy, go ahead and try goat first. Goat milk first. It's a lot closer to human milk than cow milk is, and people tend to have less of a problem with it. All right, so I wanted to go through that. I also wanted to just let people know that for the most part, in general, when people have issues digesting dairy, like they bloat, mostly it's bloating and cramping for the most part. It's usually a sensitivity, and it's usually to lactose. Okay, and so that's why people who say, oh, I can't do GAPS. I can't do GAPS because I have a dairy sensitivity. And you say, oh, no, you can do GAPS. Dairy sensitivity, no problem. We don't have lactose on GAPS. We culture everything, and we culture it long. So it's really wonderful. You can talk to your friend and show them, teach them how to make lactose-free yogurt. Say, hey, I know you think you have a dairy sensitivity, or I know you've said that you have one, but you know what? You want to try my homemade lactose-free yogurt? It might be really good for you. And as always, right? We're always we always in GAPS, no matter what you're introducing, no matter what it is, we are introducing things very slowly, a little bit, right? Something new, we bring in a little bit. We watch the body, what's happening. We observe what's happening. How am I feeling? Yeah. Then we have the same little bit. Then we observe, how am I feeling? Oh, I'm good. Okay. Then we have the same little bit again, right? How am I doing? Oh, I'm good. Maybe I can have double, like maybe instead of a teaspoon, I'll have a teaspoon and a half tomorrow. Then you have a teaspoon and a half. You observe. How are you doing? I'm fine. Next day, a teaspoon and a half. You observe. How am I doing? Doing good. Next day, a teaspoon and a half. I'm doing good. All right, let's go to 2 teaspoons. I'm bloating. Okay, no problem. That's a little bit of die-off. A little bit of bloating should not be a problem. You can handle a little bit of bloating, or maybe you can't, but for most people, we try to just hang out there until the body says, oh, I'm good at 2 teaspoons now. Great. Then we stay at 2 teaspoons, 2 teaspoons, 2 teaspoons. This is a day, another day, another day. Yeah. And then we might go to 3 teaspoons, which is a tablespoon. Anyway, I just wanted to bring that up slow and steady. All right, one more quick thing, and then I'll take questions, and that is this. I saw another post, I think it might have been on a different group, where someone moved to another stage, whatever it was. I don't know if it was stage 2 or stage 3, stage 5, I don't know. But they introduced all the new foods on the same day. And I went, no, we do not go to the next stage and introduce all the new. I mean, you can, but then if you have a reaction, we don't know what you're reacting to, right? We don't know what happened. What did you react to? So I know, it's true. So if you're going to move to the next stage, please be sure to introduce the first food in the next stage. Introduce it over several days. Make sure you're fine with it. And then introduce the next food, right? That's why we don't blow through the 6 stages of the GAPS diet. It's going to take you a good while. I have to say, of course, stage 1 is only 2 to 5 days max. Please do not stay on stage 1 any longer than that. But stage 2, you can stay on actually forever. That's another story for another time I can go into. Well, I'll go into it now. Stage 2 is nutritionally complete. You could stay on stage 2 for the rest of your life and get everything you need. All right, that's according to Dr. Natasha. All right, so in any case, you've got to take at least a couple or more months to get through the stages. Some people it takes 6 months. Some people it takes a year. I would not. If you're going through intro in a month or 6 weeks, you're not doing intro the way it needs to be done. Okay. Phil Sen says, absolutely, we did that. I knew what it was and went back when we saw a reaction. Excellent. Well done. Well done. Very good work. All right. Whoever I didn't say hello to, hello, hello. Hello, hello. Veronica says, I have a question about GAPS sour cream. Can I quote here from the book? Yes, you can. Hello, Lee. Also from WAPF, Weston A. Price Foundation. You can become a member. Yes, please do. It's a totally membership-driven organization. They take no money from anyone. Amen, Sally. Sally and friends, Sally Fallon, Morrell and friends. They send you a shopping guide booklet updated yearly for the good, better, best in all categories. Yes, you can also buy it separately. Yes, in the resources section. Thank you, Lee. That's excellent. So the shopping guide would tell you, if you're in the U.S., it would tell you good, better, best brands of things like yogurt, cultured cream, etc. Always remembering that we need to apply the GAPS standards on top of the Weston A. Price standards. Yeah, but that will be clean food. Okay. Hello, Kanie. Okay, let's see. Anybody else? Hello. Yes, hello from Montana, Chickawa. I think that's how you say that. All right, who's got questions? I'm ready for questions. I'm going to take some water, and you can put some questions in the... Send your questions if you have any. One more quick thing. Let's talk about straining whey. Oh no, let's talk about butter. Did you all know that cultured butter is best on gaps? There's another nuance, everybody. Cultured butter is best. Why? Because cultured butter is butter that's made from creme fraiche, cultured cream, and all the lactose is pre-digested. All right. Lee asks me, rice bran oil is one of the ingredients in one of my supplements. Is this okay? That's going to open a big can of worms there, Lee. First question, why would you be on a supplement? That supplement. Number two, what stage of GAPS are you on? Hopefully the full GAPS diet. And rice bran oil, I would think it would be fine. So in terms of supplements, everyone, a couple things. Please make sure you take every effort, or you make every effort to get supplements that are clean and that do not have ingredients that are not GAPS compliant. Again, depending on what stage you're on, and again, depending on what that supplement is. Yeah. So I am a standard process practitioner. They have the best, as far as I'm concerned, whole food supplements. They've been around for, 95 years or more, all based on Dr. Royal Lee and his research. And there will be some things that are not GAPS compliant in some of their supplements, and sometimes it's worth taking anyway. So depending on how sick you are, again, folks, so let's start in another place. The GAPS diet is meant to heal and seal the gut and to bring your microbes to balance, right? And in order to do that, we need to detoxify. We need to make sure that we're not bringing in toxins, etc. So rice bran oil is a refined seed oil. Again, how much refined seed oil is in that particular supplement, and can you find a better one that doesn't have it in it, right? And also, how sick are you? Meaning, some people's constitutions really can't. They're so sick, or they've been so sick for so long that they can't handle what's in the supplements. That's not GAPS compliant. They just can't. So we want to look at those ingredients as we're looking to see, are they toxic, number one? Are they toxins? Number two, would they feed pathogens? Right? Sometimes things. And number three, how much of it are we taking? If we're taking a minute amount, we're taking it once a day, maybe it's not a problem. Or maybe you've had so much healing that it's not a problem, or you're in such balance with your microbes that it wouldn't be a problem. Those are some thoughts. Okay. Are essential oils allowed on GAPS? Therapeutic grade, organic, or biodynamic essential oils are allowed topically on GAPS. I was just teaching with Dr. Natasha last week, and she personally does not have enough experience using GAPS, using essential oils internally. So she says no, not internally. They really can wreak havoc if you don't know what you're doing. Again, if you do know what you're doing and you're a licensed or certified practitioner, or you know how to work with them, then you may be able to use it. Okay, let's see. Let me go up here and see what else I've got on the dairy question. la la. Okay. Did that one? Did that one? Okay. Okay, Veronica says, ooh, there it is. Most of the time, all of you saying we should heat the pasteurized cream before culturing, and now I get this. If the cream has been pasteurized and you're using fresh kefir as a starter, that's correct. If you're using fresh kefir as a starter, you may not need to heat the cream. That's correct. Yep. That's for kefir. That is for kefir. Kefir is a different animal. I'm teaching that next week in my culturing dairy class. It literally has different profile. It works differently with temperatures, etc. So yeah, you can, if you're using fresh kefir as a starter, you may not need to heat the cream. But remember, let's all remember that kefir is also a stronger culture, so they really have the big guns, if you will. Sorry for that analogy, but kefir is a stronger culture than yogurt culture would be. It's a stronger culture than, than a yogurt culture. Kefir is much more robust. It's stronger. It's more powerful. It's more potent. And so if anything was in your pasteurized cream that got there because you sterilized the cream, because pasteurization sterilizes the cream, it would be able to overcome that, if that makes sense to you. Hope so. All right, let's see. Any more dairy questions? Dairy. Carol says, is vitamin D allowed on GAPS? I have osteoporosis and take calcium. Vitamin D helps you absorb calcium. Carol. So we remember that whole milk, raw milk, and whole milk that comes from pastured cows has all the fat and the D that you need. Number one, whole milk. So if you are eating enough, I'm just going to say a couple things. So the first thing is, presumably, if you're eating enough cultured dairy products like yogurt and kefir and cultured cream, and enough is what? 2 quarts a week? 3 quarts a week? How much dairy products are you eating? You should get enough vitamin D and calcium. Okay, you should not have to take additional vitamin D to absorb calcium, because pastured cows, the milk of pastured cows already has calcium. The milk of pastured cows already has vitamin D in it. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is, if you have osteoporosis, one of the things that I went over a couple of weeks ago, I believe on this forum and this Facebook Live, is that you want to look at a couple of things for osteoporosis. Number one, if you are not absorbing calcium into your bones, then you need to have more vitamin F. So vitamin F is not something you're going to hear out there from your doctors or anyone that doesn't know standard process. So vitamin F is essential fatty acids. So you need to have enough F to absorb calcium. So I just want to show you the triangle, and it doesn't really matter what point they're on, but D, F, and calcium all keep each other in balance. If you don't have enough calcium going into your bones, you actually need to have more F, which is essential fatty acids. You can find it in butter. You can find it in fish oil, essential fatty acids, EFAs. Okay? You don't actually need more vitamin D. D will pull the calcium out of your bones into your gut and into your bloodstream. So that's that. The other thing is, if anyone is low in vitamin D, you want to take cod liver oil. Cod liver oil has A, D, E, and K. But that's another story for another time. So if you take calcium, first of all, hopefully you're trying to get your calcium through cultured dairy products, number one. And number two, you're having enough F, essential fatty acids, butter, fish oil, etc. That's what gets calcium into your bones. D takes it out of your bones. Someone said yuck. Oh well. Okay, let's keep going. One more time with feeling, just to kind of tie that up with a bow. For it's now summertime. If everyone is outside getting lots and lots of sunshine, vitamin D, that's going to pull calcium out of your bones into your bloodstream. Please make sure you're having enough butter and enough essential fatty acids to put it back in. Okay. Veronica says, I'm eating homemade dairy, but in case if we do have to buy it in stores, do you suggest a lactose-free product or normal? So yes, what you need to do again is get the get the product that's organic, grass-fed, whole milk, and then bring it home and leave it out on the counter for 24 hours or longer, room temperature, 68 to 72, degrees Fahrenheit. That's what you would do. The only one that I'm aware of that's a brand that's fermented long enough is called White Mountain Bulgarian yogurt. All right. Philson says, could you use organic cream? I can't get a hold of raw cream. Yes, you absolutely can use organic cream. Yes, to make sour cream. That's fine. That's fine. Remember what I said was raw cream is number 1, organic cream is number 2. The point is make it yourself. It's really homemade versus store-bought. So you're doing great. Okay, hello, Annika. I have been on vacation and have been to goat and cow farms with bio milk taps. Woohoo! It was a new experience for me on vacation. I gave a goat farmer some of my goat kefir and advocated the use of kefir. I had so much goat milk in the neighborhood. Excellent. Good to have you back, Annika. And yes, spread the good news of goat milk kefir. Hello, Yurkazan. Maybe that's it. Yurkazan? Is fermenting store-bought almond flour will be equal to soaked and home-milled flour in terms of anti-nutrients? Yes. So just a couple thoughts there. The difficulty, the challenge with store-bought almond flour is that it may be rancid. Okay? But, so that's always a question. Use your nose. You'll know. If you open that bag of almond flour and you go, ooh, that smells bad, throw it away. That means it's rancid. If it's not rancid, then fermenting it would be just fine. It would be the same, have the same effect as store-bought or freshly milled at home. But again, you know, I know we're all very busy, but freshly milled at home would be best. If you can't do that, store-bought is fine. Just make sure that it's not rancid. Yeah? Hope that helped. All right. Okay, thank you. I think I will toss that one. I am interested in you doing a Facebook Live on how GAPS can replace all supplements. Woohoo! Okay, I'm writing it down. See my pencil? GAPS replace supplements. I have to tell you, so it's an interesting thing. Dr. Natasha will say over and over that the GAPS diet, when it's done well, and I know you're all doing your best, so that's always true. We're all doing our best. But GAPS, when it's done well, meaning you're able to source really good, clean food. You're able to make these things yourselves. You're having enough healthy fats. You're having enough high mineral salt. You're having enough organ meats. You're having enough meat stock. You're having enough cultured dairy. You're having enough beautiful fermented foods that you make yourself, yeah? That all these things would help you to wean off of supplements. However, there's 2 issues here that I have found as a practitioner, the word according to Monica. 1, most food at this time, unless you're growing it yourself, or you have a neighbor growing it, or you know the farmer who's growing it, and they're doing wonderful regenerative practices, most of the food, even organic, is very low in nutrients. You can't make gold out of something that doesn't have what it needs, right? You can't have nutrient-dense food if the soil's not nutrient-rich. So that's one big issue. right? And the other issue that I have found personally working as a practitioner with clients for the last, I don't know, 20 years, 18, 16 years, long time, is that there are some conditions that really need help with supplements. That's why I'm a standard process practitioner, because there are things that people need. Like cod liver oil is a supplement, and it's a GAP supplement, but other people need other things, and you just can't get enough from the food if you have certain symptoms showing up. That's what I found. Okay, hope that's helpful. Okay, let's see. Courtney asks, hello, Courtney. Do you recommend incorporating intermittent fasting on GAPS? So, Dr. Natasha likes intermittent fasting. She thinks it's fine. However, with this caveat, remembering that fasting, one cannot fast if one is nutrient depleted. You can't heal without nutrition. So we should never fast if we are nutrient deficient. We should never fast. Someone should never fast if they're nutrient deficient. Because why? If you don't have the building blocks, you can't rebuild, right? So we're remembering that a lot of GAPS is about rebuilding. I mean, that diet, the nutritional protocol is built, crafted, has been designed to give your body the nutrients it needs, the building blocks it needs to rebuild and repair all of those places where all of those places in your body that are that have been starving for nutrients, maybe since they were in utero, maybe since you were 2 or 10 or 20 or 30 or whoever knows, right? So intermittent fasting is fine, but not until you've cleared a lot of symptoms, I would say. And if you want to look at fasting, you might want to take a look in the Blue Book at the GAPS Liquid Fast. Try that first. It's within the GAPS diet, and see how you do. See if you can do a day, 2 days, 3 days, etc. But also, you can do intermittent fasting on GAPS, but not when you're sick, not when you're so tired or so sick or you have so many problems, symptoms showing up. Wait until you're feeling better. Wait until many things have cleared. Wait until you feel robust enough to do that. Okay, raw cheese is included in good dairy, right? Yes, Carol, it absolutely is. But remembering that raw cheese is a full GAPS food, really. It is the last food to be introduced on the dairy introduction structure. Why? Because it's challenging to digest. We want to start with raw dairy that's been aged, right? So aged raw dairy will be a hard cheese. It will not have a lot of lactose in it. Okay. Okay. Yes. Cinnamon and orange. Yep. Cod liver oil. Yep. That's a good one. Okay. Yurkazan asks, I have cod liver oil opened and sitting in the fridge since January. It doesn't have a bad smell. It's probably fine. Yep. You know, oils really will go rancid. So if it smells fine, you are fine. I would say. It would be fine for me to take it. So if your nose says, don't take it for sure. All right, let's see who else. La, 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 la. We did that. I did that. Yes, I did that. Good. I'm trying to make sure I've got everybody here. I am. Okay, let's see. We did the intermittent fasting piece. Coming down. La, 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 la. How often do you recommend consuming organ meats? So, organ meats are rock stars. Organ meats are superfoods. Organ meats are full of nutrients and vitamins that you cannot find anywhere else, in even muscle meat, right? So when you look at organ meat versus a steak, or organ meat versus a roast, or organ meat versus a chicken leg, again, one of those things, right? Chicken leg or muscle meat, this many nutrients. Organ meat, that many nutrients. So they are superfoods. I would say that the more often you consume them, the healthier you will be. I would say that the more often you consume them, the more nutrition your body will have to heal. So it will have those building blocks. It will have those building materials to help you heal faster. So organ meats, at least once, well, for liver, I don't know, 2-3 times a week liver. Some people are having it every day. You can have the amount of liver that fits in the palm of your hand, or maybe you can do liver shots, which I've talked about before, frozen liver pieces, etc. In terms of heart and kidneys and everything else that you can find, it's a wonderful, wonderful thing to have organ meats once a week, twice a week. Put them in your crock pot, fill it up with water, throw in some good vegetables and some herbs and let it fly. And good salt, yummy, yummy. So again, it depends on the person. People who are really sick, meaning very, very tired or have a lot of symptoms showing up, liver every day. Just a little bit even will help. If you're into GAPS because you know you have seasonal allergies and that's all that's really going on for you, liver once a week, once every 2 weeks, something like that. Hope that's helpful. Okay. Philson says, we used to use a lot of supplements with my son who's autistic and now no supplements. He's doing great. Yes. Great. Good to hear. Wonderful to hear. Okay. Monica Wilson says, no, you don't have to retype it. I'll go back up and find it. I usually just scroll up and down, scroll. I try to make sure that I'm answering questions kind of in groups so that it's easier for people to watch. I will find you. So I've got Monica came on. I see you come on. Monica Wilson. I'm looking for your question. There she is. Question. I just started yesterday. Yay. Meat stock with meat, garlic, and whey added. After the second meal, I burped for the rest of the day. I rarely do. What is happening? So you are probably having die-off. Whey can cause die-off. Garlic can cause die-off. And meat stock can cause die-off. So die-off is when the pathogens die off. You start eating things that are good for you and, well, either you start starving them by not giving them the sugar that they love and need to reproduce, or you bring in the good foods that are probiotic foods, like the whey is a probiotic food, the garlic is antimicrobial, meat stock can cause die-off also. So, that may very well be die-off for you. So what do? You back up and I don't know how much whey you put in, but maybe you need to have less whey. Maybe you want to start with whey in one bowl every day and not every single time you eat it. That's a way to back up. What else? Garlic, too, is antimicrobial, can cause severe die-off reactions, or very strong die-off reactions. So perhaps you want to, again, have garlic once instead of 6 times a day or 4 times a day or 3 times a day, and then see. The other thing, Monica, I would suggest to you and everyone is go to the featured posts on the page, Ask the GAPS Chef, and look for stomach acid tests. Do you know if your stomach acid is high enough? Meaning your stomach acid production is high enough, right? So go do those and let's see. You may need hydrochloric acid supplement to help. You may need enzymes. You may need, that's probably all. And we'll see how you're doing. But you burped for the rest of the day. Yeah, you probably have some die-off going. All those things are very powerful, slow and steady. Okay, who's got another question? Anybody have other questions? Let's see. I think I got to Monica. We got to the rice bran oil. We talked about intermittent fasting. We talked about calcium. I'm looking. Okay. Which one is better, fermenting almond flour in kefir way or kefir itself? Entirely up to you. They're both excellent. If you ferment in kefir itself, then you have milk solids, which will be part of the baked good. Both will work, whichever you prefer. They will give different results in that because of the kefir, it may be fluffier because of the milk solids, but try them both and see which one you like. They're both excellent ways to go. Neither is better than the other. Hello, Alma. Okay. Good. Good. We did that. Okay. Hey, Leonie is here. Hello. Good to have you with us. Okay. We've got a couple minutes left, folks, if anyone wants to throw another question there. Drinking my water. La la la. How many of you do have access to raw dairy? You could give me a thumbs up if you want. How many of you have access to raw dairy? Yes. What about sparkling water? Is it allowed on GAPS? I think that's addressed in both the blue and the yellow books. And I think the first thing Dr. Tasha says, let's look, I want to find it. Sparkling water. It would be mineral water is okay on GAPS. Sparkling mineral water would be fine on GAPS. Okay, why? Because carbonation leaches calcium from the bones. So mineral water will help you help get the minerals into the body so you don't lose them out of your bones. Good. All right. It is actually, Dr. Tasha talks when she says what's a typical day looks like in the yellow book. Says, look at that. Page 153, yellow, a typical menu. Start the day with a glass of still mineral water or filtered water with a slice of lemon. La, la, la. So mineral water. So sparkling mineral water is just fine. Yep. Okay, Alejandra asks, what is the best time to take cod liver oil? You want to make sure that you're taking your cod liver oil with food because it's an oil, so you want to take it with food. You also want to take cod liver oil with either high vitamin butter oil that you can purchase from Green Pastures or ghee, spring ghee if you can find it. You need the fat. When you take high vitamin butter oil with ghee, with cod liver oil, so HVBO, high vitamin butter oil, or ghee with cod liver oil, it amplifies, it intensifies, it magnifies exponentially the effect, the body's ability to use the cod liver oil. So please do that. And I would do it with a meal, like right before breakfast, right after breakfast. Phil Sen asks, can we use kefir in stage 2? Absolutely. If you can tolerate kefir, you can do it in stage 1. Very late joining. Yes. Listen to the replay. Good. Phil Sen says, we used it before and I was advised by a GAPS coach to stop and wait until I reached stage 4. I don't know why. You can have kefir. All dairy is allowed on stage 1 if you have no problems with dairy. All dairy is allowed, meaning ghee, whey, yogurt, kefir, cultured cream. They're all fine from stage 1 if you do not have an issue with it. It's not a problem. I don't know who your coach was, but perhaps you can let them know that it's fine. All righty, everyone. We are at time. I do hope that was a helpful live for you. It's always wonderful to be with everyone. Please do let me know if you have any other questions for GAPS. about implementing the GAPS diet, about last week I talked about bones, the best bones for meat stock. Please go back and check out the other Facebook Lives. They all have, I'm putting a little description so you know what I'm covering ahead of time. So I've done several pretty good ones. I have the 4 pillars of GAPS. Please, if you're new to GAPS or if you know someone who's new to GAPS, have them watch that video, that Facebook Live that says GAPS, the basics of GAPS, the 4 pillars of GAPS. You can also send them to my YouTube page. It's just my name, Monica Corrado, if they want to see these and they're not part of the group. Okay? All right, everyone. I wish you a wonderful week. Take good care of yourselves and each other, and blessings on all you do. And just keep on keeping on, right? Okay. Be well, everybody. See you on the page. Bye now.